So after years of traveling and a couple weeks of research, I decided to upgrade my carry-on to the Carl Friedrik Carry-On X. And here are some of the reasons why I decided to go that way. One of the biggest reasons I decided to go with this suitcase is because of the locks and how it closed. Now I'm sure that you've seen a lot of videos showing that zipper suitcases are not the most secure. They're pretty easy to break into, all you need is really a pen. And even though some suitcases have more advanced zipper security system, it's still not the best thing if you want to make sure that all your belongings are secure. And especially this has happened multiple times with a cheaper suitcase I used to use. Almost a good 10% of the time, it would open up at the airport. But thankfully over the years, when the zipper did burst, from my knowledge, I don't think I was missing anything, so I'm pretty fortunate in that. But yeah, that's why it was really important for my next suitcase to have this interlocking system. And it's actually pretty good because it's something that you don't really think about until you actually have it. The dials for the security codes are really easy to just shift around, compared to some other suitcases I've tried where you actually have to put physical force on changing the numbers. And what's even better for security wise is there's actually two locks. So there's one on the top and then one on the very bottom. And why that's nice is because you can set a code for the top one and a different code for the bottom one. So if for some reason someone was able to figure out the code for one of the locks, they may not have enough time or will not figure out the combination for the bottom lock. And for the closure system, everything is pretty secure. So everything around where the locks are is going to be made out of aluminum metal. And there's a little seal when you do close this luggage so that rainwater or debris doesn't get into it. And even though you're not supposed to do it, I have stuffed this luggage before, and as long as you can get these locks to close, it's not going to burst open. And they are TSA compliant locks, so no problem taking it through the airport. However, the next important thing I wanted to look in a suitcase was the material. Now, I did go into the hype a little bit, and I really was thinking about getting a metal suitcase. But after doing more research and just thinking about it more, yes, having a fully metal suitcase would be really nice. It would feel pretty premium. However, many times when you do bang up metal, it does create a dent. Plus, overall, it's just heavy. There's a lot of airlines that have weight requirements. And even though this is a carry-on size, there's a possibility that most of the weight is going to the suitcase and not actually to the things inside the suitcase. So that means you can't bring back as heavy of things, and it's something to actually worry about. Versus when I have this polycarbonate shell suitcase, I don't really have to worry that much about, oh, is it going to hit the weight requirement? Because most of the time, even when I load up this luggage, it's probably not going to be weighing more than like 30 pounds, unless I actually put weights in it. Also, many times when polycarbonate gets banged up, it usually just leaves a scuff. And I know a lot of those aluminum luggages do offer a pretty good warranty, a lifetime warranty many times, but there's only so much they can repair sometimes. Which goes to remind me another reason why I like the Carl Friedrik suitcase is they also have a lifetime warranty and their customer service is actually pretty good. Even many users on Reddit, they really love their customer service. But yeah, that's pretty much why I was looking for a polycarbonate or plastic hard shell versus metal, and also more of a thicker plastic, because there are some suitcases, even my previous suitcase, where you can easily just take a random pocket knife and just poke a hole in it, versus this one is quite a bit more sturdier. But also there's something that many people forget about is the wheels. Now, this is something that my mom's told me even when I was younger. Always buy a suitcase that has 4 wheels. Because if you only have 2 wheels, you're going to have to put a lot of weight when you're carrying it, and it's just not as comfortable. So 4 wheels for me is a must. However, one thing that I didn't realize until I got an away luggage for the first time is how much of the quality difference in the wheels makes. So on the Carl Friedrik, these wheels are silent wheels, but they're also smooth rolling wheels. Now you would be like, oh, what's the difference really in wheels? They just roll. So my older suitcase, the Samlite, it's really difficult to wheel that thing through the airport. It gets, after maybe in the first year you didn't really notice, but by the second year you kind of notice that there's a lot more friction when you're trying to move the suitcase around. And honestly, in normal airport activities, you're not really going to notice it. It's when you're running late, maybe you got to the airport a little bit later, maybe it's a really tight layover, it's gonna start pissing you off. And so far, rolling these wheels at the airport, on the parking lot, at the hotels, these wheels have been quite a joy compared to my previous luggage. So I'm really glad that I did more research on the wheels this time. But here's another important thing that I also think not a lot of people think of. Completely on the other side is the handle. Now yes, most luggages, the handle is just handle, right? But on my previous luggage, why it also made it harder to run it across the airport was the handle shook all the time. It was not securely on. It was just kind of fumbling all over the place, thereby making it a lot harder to make sure that you had a secure grip on it. But what I didn't know was until I got this Carl Friedrik, this handle is actually a little bit more special than I thought. So you know, most suitcases, there are like 2 settings on it. You can either have it at this height or that height. There's nothing in between. However, this handle can stop at any single height. So if you want it slightly higher, it would be locked up here. If you wanted it slightly lower, it would also be locked up here. It doesn't matter wherever in the track, if that's where you want it, it's gonna stay there. So honestly, it wasn't something that I knew I wanted, but after experiencing it, definitely a game changer. Now these handles on the Carl Friedrik, there's one right here, and there's a second one on the side here. Personally, I'm glad that I don't use it too much. This is one of the things that I feel like should be a little bit better. I feel like this should be a lot more ergonomic for your hand. I feel like this is more of a display piece on the Carl Friedrik, which it does look a lot nicer compared to other luggages, but it's not the best thing to hold on when you're trying to carry this thing. And also because it's leather, you have to make sure that, you know, when you're getting bag tagged for your carry-on, sometimes you have to check it in. You have to make sure that none of the stickiness gets onto this leather. Instead, it would probably be better if you could put it on the trolley handle here, because having the adhesive could damage the leather. So definitely something to take into consideration. And here's the biggest thing why I decided to choose the X compared to the other luggage lines that Carl Friedrik has. This pocket here. At first, you don't think it's that big of a deal to open up your suitcase in the middle of the airport. I don't know. It's that same feeling that you have when someone's like went through your stuff, went into your house. It's kind of like invasive. So when I travel with my laptops, pens, any kind of like thing that I may take out during an airport, especially if I go into an airport lounge, I want to have easy access to those things without opening fully my luggage in the middle of the floor at the airport. It does have zippers, so it's not the most secure, but for the most part, it is pretty secure. If you wanted to add a TSA lock to the top of it, you could do that. But if you want to make sure that your laptop is secure, especially you're checking in this bag, make sure it goes into the middle section. But if you're just going to be taking it on as a carry-on, it should be fine right here. The shell is made out of polycarbonate as well, so it's pretty secure. It's not as thick as the middle section, but it's still pretty thick that if you're in the cabin, it should be secure enough. So here's what the pocket looks like. It opens up not that much, just about 45-degree angle. However, there are buttons on the side that you can take apart and you can have a little bit more room, and especially it's nice so I can show you more of the inside, what it looks like. So in the pocket, you got this really big laptop holder, and it can fit a 15-inch MacBook Pro. I have one myself and it does fit in this. There's also a mesh part that you can store some things in. Then on the other side of the pocket, you got 2 pen holders, you got 4 pockets that you can put smaller things in. If you want to put an air tag in them, that's a pretty good option. Now, I will warn you that this pocket section does eat into the luggage. So whatever you put in this pocket, definitely be careful, because you put a lot of things in this pocket, then there's less things you can put actually in the luggage. Now for the inside of the luggage. So you just click those to open it up. You have compressors. It's kind of funny. I feel like with a lot of luxury luggages, the more upper tier, more expensive it is, the less organization and the less, I guess, kind of features they have inside, which personally I prefer, because that means you can put more of your things in it instead of being stuck with whatever the manufacturer wants. Because if they had this like net, which a lot of cheaper luggages have, the less stuff you can actually put in here. Versus with this, when you put your clothes in it, you can use this to strap it down and push out more of the air from the clothes and potentially put more things in there. And interestingly, I'm not sure if it has any extra benefits, but this is all like a cloth type material versus more of a plasticky garbage bag type feeling with other luggages. I could potentially seeing your stuff wrinkle less, but I'm not an expert in this, so I'm not 100% sure why they would use this material other than it's more of a higher quality. On the other side though, you have the same thing, but it also comes with this actual flat compressor thing. So if you put your clothes in there, and then you can squish it more down more firmly. And then you have 2 pockets, and this would actually be a pretty good place to put your air tags or something like that. Oh, and also for the compression pad, there's a zipper, and you can put some stuff in here. I think it would be pretty good for if you wanted to put like a dress shirt. I think that's what it's used for, but I'm not 100% sure. Oh, and another thing that I didn't think that I would actually care for is these locks. They're really easy to change the combinations. You know, a lot of suitcases, when you want to change the combination, you need like a sim tool, something like really small, maybe a pen would fit in there, and poke it into the hole and then change the number codes. But this one on the Carl Friedrik just has like a switch. So after you open it up, you can just flip the switch and then you can just change the code and then flip it back and then your code is changed. Definitely really useful, really love it. But yeah, these are the main reasons why I decided to upgrade to the suitcase, and so far I've been loving it. I've been using it for a couple months now and it's been great. Everything that I've been expecting and a little bit more. But if you have any questions about this suitcase, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll see you later.